go first to Joseph Duarte with the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead. If anybody else has a question, please raise your hand, and I'll get to you as soon as we can after Joseph. Joseph, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Kelvin.
Good afternoon, Joseph.
Hey, Coach. I was wondering if you could what you can say in terms of what led up to today's pause in activities. If this was something that was before the South Carolina game, or is this something that's come up with recent testing?
Recent testing. We test at least 3 times a week. Last week, I think we tested 4 times, and this came up after Monday's test.
Did you, you guys have done a really good job of avoiding this type of stuff, and it seems like it's inevitable across the country. You're gonna have to deal with this at some point. Is it still, considering that the season's only a week old, is it still kind of tough as a program to deal with, because of how early it is in the season?
Well, these are uncharted waters for everybody. I don't think any of us, have a playbook. And I obviously I knew about this last night, and then when I woke up this morning, you're not quite sure what to do. Make sure that the people that are affected by it are taken care of. Everybody's following medical protocols. We've got great medical people here. John Houston is our point person, Dr. Lee. We go through the testing, and then we get the results. They tell us what direction we're going to go, and we listen. That's it. As far as the basketball goes, we're on pause, so our kids can't do anything. Can't come to the gym. We're just. I told them what I told the players was, get on top of your academics. Our kids are still getting ready for finals. This is a great opportunity to get some early work done with your assignments. You got a paper due. Take care of that stuff.
All right, we'll go to Mark Berman, Fox 26. Mark, go ahead, please.
Hey, Kelvin, thanks for doing this. Is there any way to know at this juncture how long you're going to be in pause, or is that just an unknown right now?
I think we're in pause until the next set of tests come in. We could be back doing some individual stuff at the end of the week. But we'll all have to be tested again tomorrow. And then certain ones, we've had the kids that have tested positive, they don't have to be retested. So they're clear. It's the ones that have not tested positive. Those are the ones that we have to test and retest. So once this next round of tests come through, then they'll make a decision on what we're going to be allowed to do. But I'm just a foot soldier, man. I take my directives from the medical people, and I make sure that we put our kids and staff, and that includes the managers. Everybody associated with our program are tested. We get the results back, and then we react to that.
All right, we'll go to Sam Kahn with ESPN.com. Sam, if you have a question, go ahead, please.
Hey, Kelvin. I'm curious if you have thought – I know you guys have worked hard and done your best with protocols, but have you guys felt that – or you felt that maybe this is just an inevitability for most of the programs in the country, that this is just going to happen?
Yeah, I talked to, when this news hit, I had a bunch of coaches from other schools call. This is everybody's basketball nightmare. It's not a life nightmare because we don't have anybody that is sick that way. But as far as being a basketball coach and trying to guide these young men, we wear a mask at practice. We moved out of our film room because it's so close quarters. We set our chairs up probably 10 feet apart on the basketball court, and we have a monitor on the practice court, and that's where we watch film. Everybody wears a mask. I coach in a mask. Assistant coaches coach in a mask. Players, the only ones that don't wear masks is the players on the floor. The three things that we're constantly emphasizing is the mask, social distancing, and making sure we wash our hands. That's why we have those hand sanitizers. We have the dispensers all over the building. But it's like one of those guys said today. We can do everything right, and it still can happen. We taught our kids about who they associate with, the sacrifices that they're going to have to make to get through this season. And I think we've done a great job. And I think that's indicative that we've gone this far. The fact that we've, a good friend of mine's playing his first game tonight, Tennessee. Rick Barnes, they're playing their first game. We've got 4 in. Lon Kruger, Oklahoma team. Most teams have already gone through what we're going through right now. So I just think it's an inevitability, Sam, that is going to happen. And but the CDC initially said that once you test positive, you don't get tested for 90 days. Now that's since been changed that once you test positive, now you don't get tested for 150 days. So I think we've got about 8 or 9 kids, no more than that. We've got about 10 kids that have tested positive, somewhere around there. We've got some coaches, managers. We're across the board with that.
All right. We'll go to Chris Gardner. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, what is the likelihood of the 2 games that were postponed being made up, or are they going to be canceled?
I would say at this point, Chris, they'll be canceled, but we are making an effort to see who has some dates available. If it was easy to schedule, then you could do it. You could just get online and punch a school in and say, "You come here, we'll go there, and let's go play." That's just not the way it works. Most important part of scheduling is agreement. The 2 sides have to agree, and then you have to work out a date, and then you have to work on the timing. Who you play before that game, who you play after that game. There's so many variables involved in scheduling. I've been doing this for so long that obviously we're pretty good at it. But we were on the phone this morning calling schools to see if this date works or that date works. But right now, the 2 games that we've canceled, Sam Houston and Rice, we've talked to those schools, and Scott Parra actually called just to check. Shows you what a great guy Scott is. He just wanted to make sure everybody was okay. But we have Central Florida and Alabama, and obviously those games are in jeopardy too.
We'll go back to Joseph Duarte. Joseph, go ahead, please.
Kelvin, it looks like you're in your office today. Just how are you feeling? How's Kellen doing?
I'm doing great. Kellen's he's just stir crazy. He's basically he's basically in solitary confinement. You know, he has a wife and 2 children, and you know, he has to stay isolated. It's not that first day. So you watch a little Netflix, you watch some film. You know, your buddies are calling you after 2 days. No, it's not fun anymore. After 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You know, he's finishing up his 5th day, and he's still got 5 more. He's just halfway through. I think he gets out next Tuesday, Monday. I think it's his last day. So he's going crazy. The tough thing for me with him being in isolation is his mind is working overdrive, which means he's got a million ideas. He's got a million anyway, but now you can multiply that. So, if I want to get something done, I have to cut my phone off because he's just wearing me out with all these ideas. I get to the point where, so, why don't you come up with 5 and give me 5 at a time versus 1 every 30 seconds? But he's doing good. He was, he had some effects. He was symptomatic, but he's doing a lot better now, though. I appreciate you asking.
Coach, a minute ago when you were discussing the CDC guidelines in terms of how many days testing and how that's changed, you mentioned 10. Is that since the summer, or in terms of guys that between managers and coaches, staff, players, or is that the recent number that caused the pause?
What caused the pause is positive test.
Right. No. What I'm saying is, were several. Was it mostly positive, or was it everything due to contact tracing, or combination of both from yesterday's test? Right.
That was yesterday's test was mostly positives.
Okay. And the 10 that you mentioned, is that kind of just been spread out since the summer in terms of people in the program?
Since summer, we've had. But we test everybody. John and his student trainers, our managers. I think we have 7 or 8 managers. Our players, coaches, everybody gets tested, and we've been lucky. We went almost 5 straight weeks with no positives, and then we had one pop positive, and that was it. Then the next thing we had more, and then we got shut down. So, but we'll get through this. No complaints. It's just the way it is. I don't ever lose sight of perspective. We continue to pray for those people that have lost loved ones. We've had to cancel some basketball practices and games. We'll get back to practice and we'll get back to games. Everything will get back to normal here pretty soon. We'll use this time to make ourselves better in another way. But I know that we've lost over what are we up to now? 270,000 plus.
I believe that's about the number.
Americans that have lost their lives. Where some people have kind of tended to disassociate themselves away from this COVID. It's very much a reality, and people are losing their lives because of it. And our prayers are with them. We'll be fine.
Thank you, Coach.
We'll go back to Sam Kahn, please, with ESPN. Sam, another question?
Yeah. Kelvin, I'm curious, you mentioned sacrifice. I know that's part of being part of college athletics, but I'm curious, with some of the sacrifices, for how long it's had to be for your team, how much of a challenge mentally has that been for your players and coaches to be as disciplined and as vigilant as they have been?
Well, when you think about the new reality, you look at our team and what the kind of season we're having, and you walk down that tunnel for games, and there's less than 2,000 people at the game. You walk around campus, and it's like a ghost town here. There's no cars. There's no energy. There's no excitement. you know, we're just getting, you know, we're just basically going day to day. The graduation, winter graduation is occurring this week. I saw some students walk around with taking pictures with gowns on, and you start thinking about how unfortunate that is that, you know, the class of 2020, class of 2021, you know, that they'll forever be linked with, as the with this COVID era. And, you know, being able to just be a normal college student. You can't. You know, you can't go to parties. We all know that's part of being a college student. Athletes aren't separated from that. You know, going out and enjoying a social life, going to the library, you know, going to whatever on campus. There's none of that. You know, usually when I drive in from where I live, once I get close to Cullen, you know, usually, you know, you're used to seeing traffic and people and students and professors and alumni, Cougars, but you don't see any of that. It's just a different time. You know, it's look at our football team. You know, the class of 2020, what Dana and his staff have I just saw where the Ohio State-Michigan game was canceled. Louisville, Wisconsin. This is happening everywhere. We just have to absorb it and make the adjustments. But I think there's also opportunities to teach life lessons to your kids that, you know, sometimes life gets in the way. You know, this is you have to adjust. I don't remember what year it was, but I went over to the Middle East on 2 USO tours that was planned through the Department of Defense. I think Rumsfeld was Secretary of Defense at the time. And we went over to Kuwait to Camp Arifjan. And when you go on that military base, I think there's 9,000 troops on that base. And it's like a little city into itself. But everywhere you go, there's signs. You know, there's traffic signs. But there's signs that are messages to the troops. And the one that I remember that you know, taught me a lesson about what's going on here now is the Army always says adapt and overcome. That's their deal, adapt and overcome. It also says we want leadership, not likership. So I think this is where you need good leadership, and you have to have the ability to adapt and overcome. And I think, and that's why I'm proud of all of college athletics, male and female, high school coaches, men and women's coaches, junior high coaches. You know, this is the new normal for us every day. You know, all those 5 weeks when we were taking those tests, you know, John Houston, our trainer, would call me every night to let me know thumbs up or thumbs down. And every time my phone would ring and I look over there and see that it was John Houston's name on the screen, you just kind of hold your breath, waiting for the news. And that'll determine what we do the next day. So the news last night wasn't good, but you know what? We'll adapt and overcome.
Has there been any point where you've considered or wondered whether or not everybody still should be playing?
Yes. Yes. You know, really the only difference now when we got shut down last March, Sam, is testing. You know, we got shut down you know, without testing, we'd be shut down now. You know, we were on our way to Dickies Arena to play at our conference tournament last March when we got the call. I think, if I'm not mistaken, what's the big kid from France that plays for the Utah Jazz? He tested positive, and next thing you know, the NBA got shut down, and there was an inevitability that we were going to get shut down too, and we did. But we didn't know what we were getting. We didn't know what shutdown meant. We didn't know where we were headed. Those were uncharted waters, and we're in the same boat now. nothing has really changed except we have testing. And sometimes this testing is just a way to determine if we can keep going. So I'm just glad that we've navigated these waters enough medically that come up with a test that can keep us afloat. But, you know, just say your prayers and just hope and pray that everybody stays safe. You know, I don't lose sight of what's most important here. You know, there's a lot of seniors from last year. You know, Chris Harris was our only senior, but you know, he didn't get to put a period at the end of his career. It was almost like there's a comma. You know, and our kids this year, there's you know, there's a lot of quotation marks, and there's a lot of you know, stop and start, and you've got to exhibit a certain amount of mental toughness to get through this. But in the big picture, it's just a game. You know, these kids still are going to college. They're still working to get a college degree. We've got seniors, Dejan Giroux, Justin Gorham, Bryson Gresham. Those three kids will all be graduating here in a few months, and then they're attaining their degree has nothing to do with how many games we play, and I don't lose sight of that.
All right. I don't see any more hands raised. Does anyone else have any questions for Coach Sampson?